The last snow of that winter was not frozen droplets, but shards of glass from Marana's heart. The goddess of winter stood on the mountaintop, her eyes freezing every blade of grass that dared to show its head, while in the valley below Lada weaved the first flowers that had sprouted from the very ground she had cursed. Every time my hand touched a rose petal, the ice on Marana's fingertips melted. She sent snarling ice wolves tearing apart the blue garden I had just embroidered. I knew this was no longer a seasonal war, but an eternal vendetta. You think love can defeat a curse? Morana shouted from behind her storm, her voice like the clattering of broken glass. I didn't answer. Instead, I wove buckets of thread from the breath of the praying peasants, weaving them into ritual flags that I raised at every doorway. They didn't know each flag was a shield for their own souls. But Morana wasn't just playing ordinary. She kidnapped the village children, froze them in ice crystals, and threw them into the river that cut through the forest. Show me the power of your love, Lada. Thaw them without melting their souls. I felt my blood splattered into a river of its own, red and warm. That's when I remembered love isn't always about warmth, but also about the courage to bleed. When everyone expected me to attack with flowers or the sun, I instead took a ritual knife from the temple altar and cut off the flower crown myself, not to surrender, but to carve each fallen petal into a new seed. I planted my spilled blood along with the last seeds. You think this is a sacrifice? Morana laughed bitterly, but she didn't realize the blood of the goddess of spring is water that cannot be frozen. Now, when spring comes, it's not the flowers that bloom first, it's the birch sap that flows like sweet tears. And in Slavic villages, people no longer worship me with dances. They kiss the birch trunks and whisper, "Thank you for a sacrifice we will never understand." I, Lada, am no longer the goddess of spring. I became the mother of all that grows from wounds, and that is more noble than thousands of flower crowns.